Hello everyone, this is Persephone and this is a video that I have this information for quite a long time, but I was honestly kind of embarrassed to make this video. And you're going to say, Persephone, you make videos saying I accidentally drank my own pee, so how can you be embarrassed after this point? Well, I'm going to say that because my emotions about the whole thing were much stronger, while now I'm kind of based slash black pill slash whatever happens, I can talk about it, but back then I couldn't. So to stop the rambling and be specific, after the whole scandal with Holy Grail had happened, when the jealous guys from my fan base had doxed him and his life had pretty much gotten ruined on top of everything else, because I know for sure that there were 3 guys from my fan base, like a Hapa, a Chinese, and one more guy that they participated in spreading his face and his pictures everywhere on the internet, and we kind of like stopped talking. Which in reality we never stopped because he's still there daily from fake accounts, but I'm talking, like in public. I felt really bad about how this ended, because not only I felt that it was very stupid, but also because I felt responsible in a way of, well, if you see all of my old videos and how public we were about the whole thing, it's kind of we were inviting stalkers and psychos into it. So I was thinking that I want to fix things somehow, and I want to help him with his brother who has schizophrenia and everything. But of course that you know that Eurasian tigers, like spirit animal, is donkey, aka the most stubborn animal that exists. He wouldn't talk to me, or he wouldn't want to hear anything about it, and instead he would be over emotional and do his favorite coping, post suicidal notes online and occasionally sending me some because, hey, we have to make sure she saw it and she felt bad, right? Like, welcome to the blessed life of dating Eurasian men and Asian men. You have to be a masochist to even join. So anyway, during that time, ever since nothing was working and I accepted that it's not going to work, I thought, okay, it's time to see what the experts say. And for the first time in my life, I was trying to figure out how to win your ex back, or how to get your ex to talk to you, or how to get your ex to not curse you to death and then post the suicide note thing. And I realized, up to my horror, that much similar to the business that people say how to make money and it's a scam, and you buy it and they make money selling how to make money when in reality they don't make jack shit, it's the same thing with how to win your ex back. There are people who have 500,000 subscribers on YouTube and they specialize on breakup expert, breakup coach, how to get your ex back, and it's all one giant pile of bullshit. So if you want to win your ex and you found my channel, please watch this before you throw away your money and your stuff. I didn't pay anyone money, but I think that even if I did, I paid them with my time of watching all of their junk, which is also precious commodity because time equals money. So I'm going to tell you today what those channels are about, and I'm going to explain to you why they're a scam, why following 99% of the advice is not going to work, and the other 1% that is going to work is so obvious that you could easily have thought of it yourself without having to go to a breakup coach. I'm not going to mention anyone, but there are specific channels that they're so full of shit you can smell them through the screen. Okay, so the first thing that everyone is going to recommend is go no contact with your ex for 30 days, or go no contact for 60 days, or go no contact for 90 days, depending on which channel you're watching. Which on the outside is the right thing to do, in a sense of, if you have just been through a breakup and your emotions are raw and you need some time to settle things down, or if you are the clingy type that you're going to be begging and pleading and sending 60 texts at 3 a.m., then yeah, no contact is good for you. But no contact should be about you. It should not be a manipulation tool for your ex. It shouldn't be working like that, because if you do it, first of all, you're going to be counting the days like a criminal who waits to get out of jail. And second, it's still manipulation. It doesn't really solve anything. It's focusing on causing a reaction to the other person, because supposedly your ex is going to realize from the no contact that how much he's missing, and you're giving him space to miss you and all of that crap, and he's going to come back. My answer for this tactic is maybe, maybe not. Like, if you are dating a very impulsive person who breaks up with you on a whim, and no contact period is the time for his brain to catch up, or a not very intelligent person, then yeah, maybe they're going to realize what they lost. But with intelligent people, usually intelligent people, when they break up with you, They've been contemplating it for months, maybe years. They don't just wake up one day and say, hey, I'm going to break up with you. So if you hope that the no contact is going to work and then it doesn't work, you get crushed all over again, okay? Because you waited all of that time and suffered for nothing. The second thing is that no contact as a healing tool is not going to work, because instead of focusing on your healing, you're focusing on it's going to be used to get your ex back. It becomes weaponized. And after the 30 days, you are still on square one when it comes to healing. And that's very, very bad. And also there is a scenario that what if you're going the 30-day no contact route to your ex and he's doing the same to you? And no one ever contacts anyone. Can you imagine if your ex is watching the breakup channels and he's also using the no contact tactic to make you beg and change? Then it's going to be the dumbest reason two people never met again, and well, it wasn't meant to be. Thing number 2, and very popular advice, is the magical text, the magical combination of things that you should be writing or saying or sending, and your ex is going to see them and feel something that is going to be the right thing to feel. The level of nonsense is colossal. First of all, let me tell you something. As a person that deals with men all day, every day, all year, it boils down to very basic things. If a man is texting me, he cares. If a man talks to me, he cares. If a man doesn't know if I live or if I died, he doesn't care. So if I see messages from a man after we broke up, and there is not a reason like I'm dying in a hospital, I have 1 month to live, so I have to say goodbye, or it's your birthday, I wanted to say happy birthday, most likely it's some plot to get to be in contact with me. Someone recently sent me a tribute out of nowhere, and it's a person that stopped being my sub on very bad terms. So I asked him, did you send me a tribute? And if yes, why? And he said, yeah, accidentally. Accidentally, my ass. It's a way to re-engage conversation. So if you want to send text to your ex to initiate some contact or some conversation or whatever, you can do so if you think it's going to help, but there's no point having a team that's the most serious than the Pentagon specialists, like your friends usually, that you're going to analyze the text and it's going to be like, oh my god, what if we change this word with some other word? It's going to matter. I've been there, I've done those things with more than one exes, but if the person isn't completely stupid and you text them, they know you care. Okay, so if you have decided to text them, why not just text them like a normal human being and stop all the brain and ball off wasting your time and your resources and being a pain in the ass for your friends. Just send a normal text. Thing number 3. Do you even want your ex back? Many of those channels, they don't really emphasize on that, and they say that breakups happen for a reason and people can mend things and this and that. And when you are actually in this process of getting your ex back, even if you use all of those tactics and the person comes back, maybe you're going to realize that you didn't want them in the first place, or the same problems are going to reappear over and over again. Now you're going to say, why are you blocking me? I'm watching this video. It's because I'm 100% sure I want my ex back. Okay, I'm not going to invalidate you. If you feel you want them back, good for you. But the thing is, if we're really going to be completely honest about how things go, that relationship is already dead and it ended for a reason. So even if you want that man or that woman back, you have to be 2 new improved people. You have to individually work on your self-improvement and enter a new relationship under a different frame and different circumstances for that to work again. I have read a lot of things about soulmates and twin flames, and they say that in most of the cases, despite popular belief, soulmates and twin flames are people who one time met, the circumstances weren't right, their paths separated, and then they meet again and they make it right. Like June and Johnny Cash, it's an example. If you want to see the movie Walk the Line, holy shit, those people were true soulmates. My point is, let's say you listen to what I said and you say, yes, Persephone, I want to self-improve and be with my ex. Your ex has to also improve. Because spiritually speaking, if your frequency is high and his frequency is still in the same shit that it used to be, you won't go anywhere. And you're going to be tired of playing a character in a facade, because that's what's going to be. So again, I'm going to recommend to you that if you want your ex back, and you can wait some time, not necessarily 30 days or 60 days like the numbers matter, but if you wait after some time, and you send him a text, and he responds, and you say, let's meet and talk about what happened, then you can actually both talk to each other like normal human beings and decide what kind of change you want to make the relationship awesome this time. That's a good, healthy way to get your ex back. If you're going to be using a bunch of tactics, like a pickup artist from 2001, and you're even going to download Mystery's book to listen how you're going to appear cooler than you are, let me tell you, those things are exhausting. They don't work. And you're going to end up sick with yourself and sick with everything. So that's why I'm saying that most of those channels are crap. And at the end of the day, do you need to learn manipulation like a narcissist or a psychopath to convince a grown-up adult to come back? Why can't my ex just come back? Because, hey, he wants me back. Why do I have to send specific texts and say specific things? And, oh wait, we haven't gotten to the beef of the story. The self-development, epic journey you are going to get by yourself to get your ex back. That, of course, is going to be documented in all of your social media so that he sees what kind of awesome person he lost and he comes crawling back. Is that going to work? And even if that's going to work, do you want it? You know what I mean? So I had this thing in a sense of when my channel first got monetized, no one said anything. When my channel hit 1 million views, I had people contacting me, and I have people that I do appreciate, especially older fans from the Eurasian and Tiger old fan base, that they message me with their opinions. But sometimes, although they mean well, I don't agree with them. For example, they said, you know, what if Eurasian Tiger sees you and he sees how well he's doing? What would you do if you hit 100,000 subs somehow and you went viral? And he messages you. If I hit 100,000 subs and he messaged me the next day, I would block him. Because that's like the only reason that he messaged me, it's because I hit 100,000 subs and he comes here to milk fame. So yeah, of course not, I don't want something like that. So if you really think about it, the self-development journey, let's say I somehow became an amazing YouTuber and I do something like that and I win him back. Is that love? What the fuck gross shit is that? So if you want to have self-development for yourself, if you want to lose weight for yourself, if you want to start a business, if you want to do those things, by all means, go and do it. My channel supports, do what works for you, make money, be happy, get rid of toxic past and toxic people. But your self-development, and you're starving yourself or you're working yourself to death to make an ex like you, congratulations, you became a sugar daddy or a sugar mommy for a most likely parasite. So how was it before? Like, you weren't rich enough and now you saw money and he came, or you weren't pretty enough and now you turned heads and he came? I don't believe in this type of self-development. And if someone comes back right after you hit it big, they're most likely a narcissist or a psychopath or some kind of psychic parasite and like financial parasite. Good riddance. Another thing that they say, that it's also one of the worst things, is that if your ex came back after a long time, it's because he missed you or she missed you. That's a very, very big brain and ball lie. Usually what happens when people abruptly come back is that A, they're so atrocious, no one else wanted them, and you were the only psychic who wanted them, so they come back to you. B, they were trying to do something with someone else and it didn't work out and everything else also failed, so they're coming back to you. C, you have become entrepreneur of the year, model of the year, CEO of the year, and they saw money and life on easy mode, so they came back to you. So if all of a sudden you have some miraculous reappearance of someone from, I had an ex coming back after 10 years in the past, and I asked him, who are you? And he got very offended. Although I knew he was, but we had broken up in a bad way, so I thought, you don't even deserve acknowledgement from me. If someone comes back all of a sudden, please do yourself a favor and do a background check on his life. I'm not saying hiring a private investigator or being a stalker, but you know how those things are. Someone knows someone who knows you, or with social media, just a bit of stalking, and see how is his life going. I had women approaching me and saying that their ex proposed because he had just lost his place, his roommate kicked him out, so he needed a place to stay, so he proposed without even having a ring, so that the Vera woman, aka the desperate woman with no boundaries, let the parasite move in. Don't be the psychic who takes in the parasite, okay? Don't believe whatever people are saying just because they're crying or just because they sound convincing and so on. So in general, I consider most of those channels exceptionally unhealthy. I consider them quick rich scams, things that they tell you what you want to hear, or they tell you things that they appear to make sense, but deep down they don't make sense. Because you may think that, oh, I'm going to impress my ex with my success and he's going to come back and we are going to be happy, but then it creeps at the back of your mind that, is he coming for me? So I wasn't good enough the first time. And for me, one of the biggest turn-offs are that I have to look a specific way or act a specific way, or there is like a bunch of boxes next to me that I need to tick, otherwise I'm not good enough for my ex. Like this, for me, I consider subhumans people who think like that and who stay only on the superficial, like the looks, the money, your weight, your social circle, and so on. Because if I'm going to pay someone to date me, why wouldn't they just pay a gorgeous Japanese host or a gorgeous white, I don't know, host in Japan, and I should pay some old cell, fat cell who didn't bother to talk to me for 2 years, and pay him by me, let him leech off of my notoriety. I'm not going to do that, I'm not stupid. So please, like, sit down with yourself. Usually this extreme need to get our ex back, this extreme desperation, has to do a lot with us and not with our ex. It usually shows child abuse, codependency, past trauma reenactment, my case, that you can't let go of something, not because the person is the one, like Disney or whatever culture is showing us, but because you have unmet needs, you have unsolved problems, and this is where the neediness truly comes from. And if you can afford therapy, by all means go. If you can't afford therapy, like I said, there are so many resources online, do some soul searching. What is it about your ex that it's like he's the only man on earth and no one else can provide it? Or do you have a trauma bond? Like if you met your ex at the specifically traumatic period of your life, those bonds usually are very, very hard to break. When I met Eurasian Tiger, I had literally no one. I was thinking of committing suicide. My marriage was a joke, my life was a joke, and no one was listening. Kim wasn't listening. My friends listened and just said, just leave, bro. And I had already divorced once and I was so exhausted and nothing made sense in a way of, I couldn't understand how a family is racist and they hate only me and they worship all the white guys. So Eurasian Tiger was the only person who sat there and listened. He was the only person who had the resources and answers to all of this insanity. And I say this after researching for 6 months and finding nothing. Finding only like blue-pilled AMWF, my Hapa baby, and my Asian husband, and my Disney Life stupid YouTube channels. And once you get to the point of talking to a person for 6-7 hours every day, all day for over a year, you develop one hell of a trauma bond. That's something I would never do again with anyone. Like when I'm over communicating with someone, I back off immediately because those things, they can even alter your brain chemistry and create trauma bonds for both people included. Because if your ex is also mentally ill and he also has a tendency to trauma bond and to develop addictive relationships, you can be in a destructive pattern for the rest of your life. So just be careful and observe and don't just accept information blindly because the video has 1 million views, so that must be the holy grail of getting your ex back, right? Not necessarily. The 1 million views may show that there is a lot of desperation in this world, and if you see their comments, hold it at the desperation. It doesn't mean that the video contains good advice. So, if you ask me where do I stand now after a tragic year, like one day when I'm more ready, I'm going to make a video of all the stuff I decided to do and I actually used on myself to get him back or to get other people back, and you're going to be laughing your ass off. But until then, I'm going to speak only about the current present. There was someone recently who told me, you and Eurasian Tiger may have a chance to work things out. I don't want to work anything out. What do I mean by that is that I've led things in a way that Eurasian Tiger's problem was never really me. I mean, sure, I tend to create a lot of problems occasionally, but his problem is the fact that he cannot accept that he got married out of convenience and he lives a loveless life and a sexless life, and that's the source of all of his problems. So that's a wall in front of him that only he can overcome. Even though I try to shout from the other side of the wall at times in the past, that's not my job to do anymore. My job is my own life. So if he ever wanted to break free from this situation, to break free from the relatives who are cucking him and controlling him, and to stop selling himself for like a dirty room in China and a plate of GMO food, that would be admirable for him. But like I said, that's not my job. I have my own life, and at the end of the day, love shouldn't be a competition. It shouldn't be me versus another person or playing mind games or thinking that I'm running out of choices and I need to be married for stability and security. Fuck stability and fuck security. I would live 2 months in true love than 50 years in a stability and security Chinese type of marriage. But that's just me. I can't enforce that on anyone. So I don't know if he's ever going to realize what he's missing in life. And what he's missing, I don't mean that I'm the most awesome person on earth and he misses me, but He could have dated a beautiful Indian woman or an educated, nice black woman or anyone else non-Asian, because he hates Asian women. Everyone knows that, even the rocks outside my house. And he doesn't try. He gave up without even trying. And I've reached the point of my life that I'm saying, I always said that if I go down trying. So I'm never going to give up on love. If I'm going to end up with 5,000 cats as a crazy rich cat lady at 70, I'm fully okay with accepting it. But I'm not going to be okay with staying in a marriage or in a relationship that I'm being abused and disrespected and suffocated, and it's like you have to dim your light so that other people are not blinded, or they feel comfortable, or just enable each other's self-destruction just out of fear. I'm not saying out of fear. So as long as he's like dominated by fear and by insecurity and by all of that stuff, not only we cannot be together, I don't want this in my life anymore. I don't want half-assed in my life in any way. Either you are in or you're out. And you're going to say, okay, first of all, we both know you raised a tiger. Is he ever going to do that? To be honest, I have very low expectations of that happening. But in the past, he has surprised us in other ways, so you never know. My point is, this video is not about me or you raised a tiger. It's about you. I want you to think, listening to this, to think like, do you really want this person who did all of that stuff? Are you really going to be happy if they come back and if they start obsessing over the same shit or causing the same drama or hurting you? No. If no, then sometimes the best thing you can do for your soulmate or for whoever you love is to let them go to find their own path. There are some things in life that the person can experience and should experience and overcome alone. Stop trying to rescue people who are not even drowning. If you ask me if Eurasian tiger is drowning, oh my god, Eurasian tiger is up to here and shit, but as long as he hasn't realized it and he doesn't want help, I'm not going to be the rescuer. I'm done being the rescuer for problematic Asian men. I've done more for Asian men on the internet and Eurasian men than any other white person. I've put myself into the crazy white people reputation #1 on the list. It's enough. At some point, they have to start swimming by themselves. I'm not going to be rescuing them from drowning every time. You know what I mean? So yeah, I don't know if he's going to watch it. If he's going to watch it, then I'm probably going to be like the villain again. How can I say those things about him? But truth is that happily married men don't have blogs called Longing for Death. Okay, thank you for watching.